Hi, folks. On this dispatch, I want to share with you a Facebook post that came through Stephanie Spellers. Stephanie is one of the leaders of the Episcopal Church in the USA, a really creative person. I appreciate her because she was my editor in the book I wrote in 2015 called Joining God. And it was just so much fun to work with her and to appreciate her creativity. So Stephanie, I think it was on Friday, put up a simple little post, and it said this: anyone else finding it hard to keep going these days? And as soon as I saw it, I went, yes, that's exactly what I am experiencing. Anybody else finding it hard to keep going these days? And even in the middle of the summer, that's my experience. And then I was reading yesterday morning, in the New York Times in the business section, an interview with Hubert Joly, who was until recently the CEO of Best Buy and now teaches at Harvard Business School. But they were interviewing him about the work he did in leading and developing and moving Best Buy forward. It was one of the comments that caught my eye. He said, look, the world that we live in simply isn't working. And I linked that with Stephanie's question. Anybody else finding it hard to keep going these days? It is hard to keep going in a world that isn't working, especially when you feel responsible as a leader of a congregation or an organization. And all of us could go down the long list of what's not working, whether it's the climate, whether it's our economics, whether it's the racial issues that are going on amongst people. The list is really, really long. And what I realize is that you can easily come to what we're facing as leaders and go down a deep black hole of how do you deal with all of this? And I find myself in that space from time to time, trying to reflecting upon the things that are going on and asking, how do you deal with all of this? And realizing that part of the reason I go down the black hole in asking what to do is that I, in spite of all the theology I write, still think that I need to play God. In other words, I have to come up with answers. I have to bring solutions to my people and ways in which to direct them. And when you live there, you can only go down a black hole and you can only find it hard to keep going. What Stephanie did was put in a quote from Dorothy Day, which is really a comment on 1 Corinthians 13 about the place of love. And part of what it means is that we're not made to be God, and we're not made to be the ones with the answers and solutions, but it's amongst us together, amongst us as people. It's about gathering our people in our congregations, in our community, and sitting down and listening and engaging with each other, because that's where the Spirit is present. And the way out of finding it hard these days, or one of the ways out, is how we learn to lead differently from our need to be God. And that's hard because as pastors, we've been trained to believe that we ought to have the answers, and we don't, and we can't, but amongst our people. And so I leave you that, and I leave you Dorothy Day's quote on 1 Corinthians 12 and the way of love, which is a way of being together to discover God. God be with you this week, and may the peace of Christ go with you in these hard days when very little is working. God's peace.